What's going on YouTube? Welcome to today's video. This is the Carb Up case study. I'm very excited to show you guys this, but we're doing our routine checkup for this case study, which we do every month. But even more, we're coming in twice this week because we're gonna see how a carb load affects body composition going into a bodybuilding show. So a common practice for bodybuilding is you'll do a couple days of low carb. You'll then bring your carbs very high to get a more full look. Fill up your glycogen stores, and with glycogen also pull some water into the muscles. So that's kind of why this is done in general. And I think there's some research showing endurance athletes, when they go from a depleted state of carbs and glycogen, they have a super compensation where they're able to store even more than usual if they just ate enough carbs the entire week. So the way that we've been conducted this so far is the past 3 days. I competed on last Saturday at the OCP Tampa National, and now today is Wednesday. And then I will be competing at the OCB Yorton Cup on this upcoming Saturday. So it is a peak week, and the past 3 days, so Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, I've been in the depletion. So I've been eating less than 50 grams of carbs per day. Sunday, I believe it was like 1,500 calories. Monday and Tuesday, here's all the food that I ate and the associated macros. So pretty much less than 50 carbs a day. So we were in a depleted state. And this morning I woke up at 190 pounds, 190.0, which is our lowest yet. Typically I've been waking up at like 193, but today's weight, 190.0. Today is Wednesday, so we're gonna be starting the carb load, and then we're gonna do, I believe it's about 480 grams of carbs today. Tomorrow will also be a loading day where we're gonna do something over 400 grams. Then Friday is more of a moderate day. I'm gonna be coming in today. I am fasted, it's 11 a.m. It's Wednesday, haven't eaten anything. We're gonna be taking our baseline measurements, and then we're gonna see how those change when I come back on Friday after being loaded. So depleted coming in on Wednesday, and then being loaded coming back on Friday. We're gonna see the differences of everything there. So I also did a little bit of baseline statistics. So I took my measurements. I don't think that those will change that much in a 2-day period just from carb loading, but you never know, so I took those anyway. And also this is what I'm looking like this morning when I did my front poses and back poses, so we'll see visual changes as well. Other cool news is me and my coach Cliff, we do pretty much a meal plan going into each show for the peak week. So everything is very, very controlled. It's almost a metabolic ward study. So the last 2 days already showed you everything that I ate. Today and tomorrow, everything will also already be according to a meal plan. So I'll give you the totals for all of the food as we go through everything. So it's gonna be a very controlled study. Very interested. The researchers are excited. Me and Cliff are excited to see the results. So we are here today, and we'll let you know how it goes. All right, so we're getting the ultrasound measurements of the biceps, now triceps, and we're gonna get 2 areas of the quads as well. So we just finished up the first check-in. Cool things to note. So we did the ultrasound on biceps, triceps, and we did 2 parts of the quad. So some of the data points that we got, we also did an InBody scan after. So the InBody scan, some of the interesting stuff is my intracellular water went down from the previous check-ins just like a month ago, and my extracellular water went down. Oh, they both went down, yeah. So that's interesting. So we'll keep an eye on those as well. I lost 10 pounds from the last time. InBody last time said that my body fat was 8.3. Today it said 6.3. So we'll even see if that's going to be like an interesting, like the InBody reads it differently if you're full of water or not. So some cool stuff there. I'm gonna post like all the information for the InBodies. My weight was also down 10 pounds because again, we're 190.0 today. And all of my ultrasounds was really cool to see. Biceps, triceps, and thighs. Everything was down probably about like 10% in biceps for the ultrasound measurements. And then tricep was down like 5%, and I believe the quads were down as well. So we're gonna see if once we load up with carbs and water, if those again expand a little bit. I'm expecting them on the ultrasound to definitely be bigger. And then the researchers have been saying that it's gonna be cool to see what the water compartmentalization is doing, like intracellular versus extracellular. So some cool stuff coming in. This is gonna be day one. I'm gonna eat 480 grams of carbs, and I will check in with you guys. Probably talk to you guys after my meals tomorrow. Bye. That should do it. So that is our loaded physique. See you guys at the lab. What's going on, guys? So we just got to Lehman College. We're just waiting on the researchers to get here, and we're gonna get this thing underway. We have a bus to catch, so we made sure to come really early. I want to talk about the measurements that I took this morning. Those are right here, and compared them against the ones from 2 days ago. The main thing that just stood out to me was my chest measurement was down, but I think the day before I had like a little chest day because during the peak week we just have a quick pump chest session. So I think that's why like that's deflated, and but there wasn't really too many changes in the measurements. I didn't really think just carbing up would really show on the tape measure, but we're gonna see with the ultrasound and everything else. Also, I weighed in this morning at 194.0, and that was at about 4:30 a.m. I got up a little bit earlier today because I had to get my bags packed and everything. But we'll get this thing underway in a little bit, and we'll talk to you, I guess, then. What's going on, guys? So we just finished the first set of measurements in the lab. Body fat was down a little bit, but it's within range. But we'll talk about all the data points at the end of this video. But I'm gonna eat this meal right now. We have 3 ounces of top round cooked steak. We got 10 ounces of white potato. We have 2 teaspoons of flaxseed oil on it and a ½ teaspoon of sea salt. And I'm gonna be drinking 1 water bottle in between. And then we'll be taking measurements again in about an hour. So I'm gonna eat this up, let it digest, and we'll see if there's any more changes on the ultrasound and the InBody. So I'll see you in a bit. So just finished the post-meal measurements. Not too much of a difference, but also we only had like an hour window. I think there was a good amount of fat in my last meal, so the digestion may not have been completely there, but there were some subtle differences, which we'll cover in a little bit. We're done here, so we're gonna go catch our bus, and I'll show you how we'll talk about the data next. What's going on, guys? It is a couple weeks after this, just reviewing the footage and wanted to give a little bit of analysis on the data. So overall, was pretty cool. The ultrasound measurements did have a pretty significant change in some muscle thickness during the carb up. So after like the 2 days of carbing up, biceps increased something like, I think that was 8 or 9%, just from the 2 days carbing up. So like those 2 400 plus carb days. And then also, we'll cover that in a minute, but my triceps went up probably about like 4% or so. Rectus femoris, that was something like 4%. And the VL was surprising, had no response, but actually may have decreased, but probably within the margin of error. So 3 out of the 4 measurements did increase to a pretty significant degree. 2 of them about like 4%, and then the biceps, that was interesting. That was something like 8%. So that's a pretty significant amount to gain muscle size. And in bodybuilding shows, that could actually play a pretty big factor with this carb up. And then also with the meal following, we only had an hour for me to digest. There was some fat with that meal. I think there was something like 70 carbs. So maybe if it was just plain like quick digesting candy or something, maybe there would have been different numbers. Maybe just salt and candy would have been the way to go to really try to get a quick response. But potato, oil and salt, and some also steak. I'm not sure if that had enough time, but also I had a little bit of water, so that probably played into it as well. So with biceps, they still increased another like 2%, so went up another 1.2 millimeters, so 44.3 to 45.5. That is something. Triceps actually pretty much stayed the same, dropped 0.3 millimeters from 53.8 to 53.5. Rectus femoris dropped 0.4. Again, not too significant when it was 58.5 to 58.1 millimeters. But then the VL decided to start playing. It went up 1.1 millimeters from 54.3 to 55.1. But that's still only like one there, so that's like 0.5% or so. So that's pretty negligible, probably within the error anyway. But this does raise, it does give a little validity to carbing up, depleting, and then carbing up for a show, especially with my biceps. In a fed state, they gained about 10% of their size. So that probably played in my favor. Of course, you want to go up on a bodybuilding stage, like really, well, everyone is kind of starving, but you wouldn't be super depleted. You do want to like fill out a little bit, have a meal or so. So this gives a little validity there. In terms of the InBody data, some interesting things, but the InBody, it's been doing some weird things just throughout the case study, so there's not too much validity I always give to it. But with some of these values, there is some consistency, so you can also maybe starts giving you the picture, but I wouldn't really bank all of my trust behind an InBody scan. So pretty much the key points are, also I want to say the 190.0 that I did weigh in that first day, Wednesday, that was pretty significant outlier. Most days it was like 193-ish, I think, at that point. And then that one day I weighed at 190.0. Didn't see another 190 measurement like weigh in for like 3 weeks. So I would kind of call that an outlier and wouldn't give that too much validity either. So over the course of the carbing up, so the first 2 days, my weight did go up about 2.6 pounds on the InBodies. So I went from 192.6 to 195.2. That was pretty consistent with all my shows. I gained about 2 pounds through my carb loads, 2 to 3 pounds. So that was pretty consistent. My body fat, interesting, dropped 0.4%. It went from 6.3 to 5.9. That's probably because my skeletal muscle mass did go up. So probably body fat reading was about the same, but since my muscle did go up, it dropped the body fat percentage, of course. Skeletal muscle mass from the first to just the carb up, so the 2 days of carbing up, my skeletal muscle mass increased 1.2 or 1.3 pounds, it appears. So you're getting probably some more carbs there, and they're just going to absorb some more water. So a little bit of extra weight there. And then interesting, the intracellular water to total body water ratio didn't really change through all 3 measurements. But on the fed state, I just gained a little bit more weight from the second to the third. I went from 195.2 to 196.7, so that was another gain of 1.5 pounds, water and food. And then that allowed my skeletal muscle mass to also grow or register another gain of about a pound, so 0.9 pounds, going from 104.3 to 105.2. And then also I lost 0.1% of body fat, but I wouldn't really count that as much. So that's pretty much like all the data I wanted to talk about. Did this study really accomplish what we set out to do? And I would probably say yes. With the ultrasound especially, the data points we did, we took 3 measurements from each area, averaged it out, and there's relatively consistent trends going on with the 8% gain on the biceps, 4% on triceps and rectus femoris. And then the VL, it was very interesting that VL didn't really respond much, while the other 3 measurements had some pretty good responses. So maybe there is a difference of sensitivities to like glucose loading or carb loading in different areas. So this hopefully will start raising some other questions, maybe be something that will maybe spark a little extra research in the area. But it's really cool to see this data, and it was really fun to be a part of this. And apparently this is one of the first ones to be done in the bodybuilding context. They've done carb loads with high-level endurance athletes, but not really any in like the bodybuilding prep or near bodybuilding stage leanness. So I'm really excited for this, and also when this will all be published eventually. But that's pretty much it for the video. Also, if anyone's wondering, I did compete in the Yorton Cup, missed my pro card by 1 placing. I got 2nd place out of, I think there were 7 or 8 competitors, 8 competitors. So if you want to see what 5.8 or 5.9% body fat looks like on the stage, or also just see how things stacked up, that is the previous video to this one on my channel. And if I figure out how to link it, we'll have that right here. So definitely check that one out. And then that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was really cool to be a part of. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Keep it flexible. I'm out.